All right, hello and welcome to another Expert Insight interview. My name is John Golden from Sales Pop, online sales magazine, and Pipeliner CRM, joining you as usual from a sunny San Diego. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Chris Peer, who is in Cleveland, Ohio. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm great. A cloudy Cleveland, Ohio.
Actually, I lied to everybody here. It's kind of cloudy here too. I'm just getting used to saying that. Chris is founder and president, CEO of Sync Show. Over 30 years experience in B2B online marketing strategies, sales processes, and client communications. And since 2002, Sync Show has grown under his leadership to become one of the nation's fastest growing B2B online marketing agencies. 2023, you published the book, The Great Eight Pillars ROI Driven Marketing for Manufacturing Companies, with the methodology designed to revolutionize your marketing department, shifting it from being a financial burden to being a source of profit. And I guess, Chris, that's one of the things that every marketing department struggles with, whether they're in a small organization or a big enterprise organization. They're often seen as, well, you guys are just a cost center, and it's hard to figure out,
Mhm.
where's the ROI coming from, and it gets, and that's often from sales, right? Let's be honest, like sales, let's go, all these marketing folks over there, they're just a cost center. They don't generate anything. So just tell me a little bit about the genesis of your book, The Eight Pillars, and how you came to create a model that actually could show real ROI and profit.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the original book was published specifically for B2B manufacturing,
Mhm.
but I've since published it's actually launching next Tuesday on Amazon.
Nice.
Um, a it's the same methodology, but it applies for all B2B companies.
Mhm.
Um, in my line of work, what we've really been striving for is to prove that marketing can provide a return on investment, as you mentioned. And, it's not always been easy to do. But today, with today's tools and technologies and the amount of data and analytics we can attain, it's become much easier to prove marketing's ROI.
Mhm.
And what the book is all about is actually more about how to build your marketing operational infrastructure. It's not a marketing how-to book regarding like tactics like SEO or content
Right.
marketing. And while we provide all those services at Sync Show, my company, the book is all about how you structure your marketing operation to ensure that you get a return on investment, because so many companies fail to when it
Yeah.
comes to marketing.
Well, because I think when a lot of people like marketing, sort of, it becomes a collection of kind of tactical things with maybe a little bit of strategy overlaid. But what you're saying there is, for instance, like in sales, you have a very defined sales process. You have the infrastructure that supports that sales process. You've all of these things. It's it's much more defined, as you said. In marketing, in most organizations, it's a little bit vaguer, right? Or more
Yeah,
vague.
it's traditionally been that department that has been kind of forgotten
Hmm.
because in the past it was very tactical. It was very arts and crafts.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily a strategic initiative. It was, how do we look better? How do we get our name out? And I think marketing's got a bad reputation because of that.
Hmm.
I like to tell people, think of it as communications.
Yeah.
If you can improve your communications, you can improve your sales.
Hmm. So explain a little bit more about what you mean by the infrastructure for marketing.
Yeah, so you already alluded to sales. You've got a CRM system, you've got sales process, you have a sales pipeline. You can get all the sales analytics. Not all people, not all agencies, not all marketers approach marketing with that same kind of fervor or structure. So we outlined 8 core areas within the marketing operations department that you have to have in place if you want any chance of getting a return on investment. And quick story, John, when we started this process, we thought it was going to be about tactics.
Mhm.
We were on a quest to determine why some of our clients were wildly successful with marketing and some weren't. and we thought it was going to be which tactics were employed and when. And what we realized is that our greatest customer successes were with companies where we had a strong marketing operation infrastructure. So
Mhm.
um, I'll just rattle them off real
Yeah,
quick so
please.
you get a gist of what it is. Number one, like a sales team, if you have a sales team, you have a sales goal.
Mhm.
Every sales team has a sales goal. So you should have an ROI driven marketing goal. How much revenue in the form of pipeline revenue should marketing be delivering? And then ultimately closing that revenue through your sales team. So, pillar number one is ROI driven goals, key performance indicators, and industry benchmarks. Pillar number two is your marketing strategy. Do you have a marketing strategy documented, written in writing? In my 22 years of owning Sync Show and running Sync Show, I've only had one company provide us with an
Really.
existing marketing strategy. And that just came last October.
Right. Because let's face it, a lot of times you have, it's like you have the company strategy, or you maybe have the sales strategy or the revenue strategy or whatever it is, and marketing just takes that and sort of like plugs in. Here are the tactics. As we're back to tactics, here are the tactics that we're going to do, as opposed to actually, as you said, creating an actual a strategic their own strategy for the department itself.
Correct. And I'm not talking about a wish list or a list of
Sure.
tactics. I'm talking about who is your target audience, your ideal customer profile, your buyer personas, the content topics, the pain points, the channels you're going to engage in to attract and convert prospects into leads. I'm talking about a full marketing strategy,
Hmm.
not a tactical program or a calendar
Yeah.
list. So that's number two. Number three is your marketing team structure.
Hmm.
So do you have the right team to pull off the strategy? Next up is value proposition, messaging, and branding. And I think this is perhaps the one of the most overlooked and most important areas of marketing, and that's your value proposition.
Hmm.
So how do you communicate why your buyers should choose you over the competition? A lot of companies skip that because it's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, yeah, and especially today, if you think about how commoditized many products and services are, yeah, that's often filed under the too difficult. Let's get back to drawing pictures.
Well, and I think a lot of companies skip it because they're afraid that maybe they don't have one.
And that's a good point.
And knowing that you don't have one is also a positive step in the right direction, so you can build one. Number five, pillar number five is your almighty website. So it's making sure that your website isn't not just an online brochure, but a lead
Mhm.
generation tool. Number six is analytics and reporting. Do you have the right analytics? Are you tracking the right data? And are you reporting that information to the right people at the right times? And what I mean by that is I believe sales and marketing should be very closely aligned, if not
Yeah,
one team. And the
agreed.
sales leader needs to get marketing reports. And depending on the size of the company, it could be the president that's getting those reports in smaller companies.
Hmm.
Um, one of the other pillars, pillar number, which number we're on? I got
7.
lost. Pillar number seven is your. I just drew a blank.
I know.
Pillar number, I got to get my book out.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. You get to show the book anyway.
Here's the book. Pillar number seven is technology stack. I don't know why I drew a blank.
Yeah.
So do you have the right technologies to pull off your marketing strategy?
Hmm.
We're a HubSpot platinum partner. You've got Pipeliner. So like, are you integrated with CRM? Is the data and information flowing through so that you can make educated decisions? And then last but not least is your templates and guides.
Hmm.
So this is more of an efficiency. This chapter and this pillar is more about efficiencies. Are you recreating the wheel, or do you have templates and guidelines to direct your marketing effort?
Yeah. No, those are great, and that's very those are comprehensive pillars, as you said, to build an infrastructure. I think just a couple of them I just want to hone in on for a moment. You mentioned teams, and I think that is one of the areas where we have so many advantages today, that we have access to resources across the globe. We have access to fractional resources. There was a time when, marketing departments, when you ended up hiring a lot of generalists, right? Because, maybe you hired somebody who was, maybe they were really good at writing, and then you thought, okay, I'll get them to do email and I'll get them to do other things. And you ended up with somebody who was really good at something and then kind of mediocre at the others.
Yeah.
And now you have the option that you can really get the right people and specialized resources. So, building a marketing team, if you're able to integrate, full-time employees with contractors, with fractionals, whatever, you have access to a wealth of talent.
You do, and the reason that we had that pillar for marketing team was exactly like as you're talking about. Oftentimes companies and we mostly service small to middle market companies.
Hmm.
And in those organizations, they don't have a huge marketing budget. So what they do is they hire a marketing manager,
Hmm.
and then they expect that person to be able to do all of these different things.
Yep.
And the truth is you can't pull off a strong marketing effort and expect to get a return on investment if you have the wrong people in the wrong seats.
Hmm.
I think, if anything, I get a lot of feedback on my book from business leaders and executives that say, this book helped me to understand how to manage my agency or my in house
Yeah.
team and how to build that team. And so when it comes to marketing team, you've got people that are really good at strategy. You've got
Hmm.
people that are really strong at project management and task management. But then you've got all the disciplines of marketing, from website development to conversion rate optimization to search engine optimization. So the list goes on.
Hmm.
And if you have generalists in all those roles, you can't expect to get good results.
No, absolutely. And there's new roles coming up all the time, or new skills. Let's say new roles, new skill sets. I mean, now, we have AI, so now you got to look at, okay, you got person who's good at SEO and been doing really well. How do you do that for AI? So now you've got to bring that. You've got to either, you've got to find that skill set too and understand that. So you're always having to look at, do I have the right skills in the organization or in the broader organization, or do I need to go out and find somebody? And as I said, the beautiful thing nowadays is, maybe I only need that person 5 hours a week, and I can get a fractional person.
Yeah. And I think in the book, we outline like the suggested marketing team based on your marketing budget,
Hmm.
because it does vary based on budget and what you can afford and what you should bring in house versus what you should outsource.
Yeah. And one of the other ones you mentioned, one of the other pillars is analytics. And I think that is really important, because that has been one of the things that's been difficult over the years. And well, and thanks to Google and their analytics, I think they improved it recently just to make it harder to use, which is always nice. Um, but I mean, it's been one of the things that struggled with, because, as you say, a lot of the in the past, a lot of it's been anecdotal, like, oh yeah, we got a lot of traffic come to the website, but that's all marketing. It turned into leads, but that was marketing, right? When you, without really being able to prove that that's what the case is. But you have a lot of the tools nowadays. But I think the thing is, it's easy to have a lot of analytics. It's much harder to have the correct ones, right? And so it's much better to focus. And so when you do under that pillar, do you recommend people like really focus in on what are the key analytics that they should be tracking?
Yeah, and we have like downloadable tools on our website at g8p.co. That's the letter G, the number 8, the letter P.co. You can download all the tools and templates and analytics reports templates. But John, yeah, to your point, I think marketing for so many years reported on what I call vanity metrics.
Hmm.
We got this much web traffic, we got this many likes on social media or mentions or views or impressions. Um, and I vanity metric sounds very negative,
Yeah.
and in some cases it is, but it's not that you shouldn't track those. I do believe that those metrics can provide value. However, you wanna make sure you are tracking the right things, like how many sales qualified leads were
Mhm.
driven through a marketing effort. And a lot of those vanity metrics and other metrics that may not be ROI generated metrics can inform how you improve ROI,
Mhm.
like your visitor to lead conversion rate on your website. So there are a lot of different metrics you should be looking at to really move the needle. And a lot of companies don't want to, or marketing departments don't want to look at them because they don't know how to improve them.
Right, right.
So they don't report on them. And that's what this is all about.
Absolutely. And then you mentioned tech stack, and I think that's another area where there's so many shiny new toys coming out right now, and we have AI coming into the mix. It's very easy to get it's very easy to get distracted by shiny new toys and new technologies, as opposed to being very careful in how you build your tech stack and ensuring that you have the right pieces. And sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
And really focusing on getting the maximum out of whatever the platform you choose to use. But it's very easy, and I think this is something that marketing is going to struggle with a little bit now, is because of AI, with all these tools coming out, they're going to start getting kind of distracted all over the place.
Yeah, I think AI is going to be a big disruptor. It's going to be a big value add
Sure.
as well. Um, we have an AI task force at our company that multiple team members are accountable for researching the advancements in AI, and then we also have invested in AI tools to help propel and continue being, tip of the spear
Hmm.
as far as knowledgeable. But I only see it as a good thing. I think AI is just another tool. I remember when the computer first really started hitting mainstream in business, um, and everybody was really freaking out about it and worried about how it was going to replace all these human beings. I think it's just going to change the way we work.
Hmm. And
Um,
like I said, I think the important thing is going to be like you're doing there. You have a task force. It's just doing some research, as opposed to just saying, "Wow, I just saw this," or "Somebody just sent me this tool. Wow, we should use this," or "Wow, this is another cool one," because you'll end up chasing your tail that way, and you'll end up, yeah, with a lot of, you'll have a lot of fun, but you won't be that effective.
yeah, and I think AI is probably the number one question that new business prospects and my clients ask us.
Hmm.
What are we doing with AI? How are we leveraging AI? Um, we've had some prospects talk about, well, we don't need a marketing agency because we can just use AI. And I do believe that AI is going to add a lot of value and efficiencies in marketing, especially, but it's not going to replace the human being and the knowledge that again, AI is just a tool.
Yeah, it's
And you have to
another.
be really careful about how you're leveraging AI for your business, especially if you're using it for content marketing.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that is definitely an area that people have fallen into that trap already, of thinking, "Wow, this is great now. AI can generate all this cool content for me," but the algorithms are catching up with that and all of that, and plus, it's easy to get really lazy and like generate stuff. And I've seen stuff that's been put out there that I know somebody generated with AI. I mean, I could run it through a checker and it'd probably tell me anyway, but I know, because the content isn't very good and some of it
Yeah.
is kind of silly. And people aren't even reading or looking through what they're churning out, and they don't realize how damaging that's ultimately going to be to their brand.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think sometimes the excitement of having an article written for you in 15 seconds that kind of sounds good um, can be alluring for somebody not to spend money on creating that article.
Yeah.
But the thought leadership content isn't there yet. Um,
Hmm.
and I do believe, like we use AI to create content, but not by itself. We have a
Yes.
lot of inputs, we have a lot of data, and then we have a subject matter expert review and add additional thought leadership content information into those articles so that they are unique and original and adding value.
Yeah, well, fantastic. So just before we go, Chris, just tell me a little bit of it, just revisit the value proposition piece, because I think that's really important for people to understand. It's fantastic that you brought that up, and that's, a key pillar. Um, just for somebody listening, what is a value, maybe one of your customers, not a name, but what does a value proposition for marketing sound like?
Well, I mean, every value proposition is different
Sure.
for every company, but most companies just don't really focus on your value prop. So in the book, we talk about how to develop a well articulated and differentiated value proposition.
Hmm.
And John, what we're really talking about is storytelling.
Yeah.
So, why should I, as a consumer, a buyer, choose your product or service over another company?
Hmm.
What do you do that uniquely satisfies my pain points and my needs that the others don't?
Yeah.
And oftentimes, when we talk with clients, when we're building out value props, they say, "Oh, we have a great value proposition. We have the best people, we have the most industry experience, we have this, we have that." And usually those things are what everybody says. So they have to be unique identifiers. Do you have a patented process? Do you have a technology? Can you prove that you can do things faster, cheaper, better
Hmm.
than your competition? Um,
And
and
what do your
so,
cu and sometimes it's what do your customers say about you? Because oftentimes, like, your customers will say things about you that you don't that's not even in your value
yeah,
proposition. You don't realize that's where they see the value.
you're spot on. Getting customer information and feedback is really valuable
Yeah.
because
Well,
they'll often tell you your blind spots.
yeah, oh, they will. I've been through that many times, but the story for another day. Well, listen, Chris, this has been fantastic. All of Chris's information will be below this video, and all of the links, including the one you mentioned there, which was what was that? GAP.
GAP.co.
Yeah, all of this is below this video. Before we go, Chris, just remind everybody again what you and Sync Show do.
Yeah, so we're a digital marketing, lead generation, and sales enablement company. We specialize in B2B industrial companies, typically small to middle market
Mhm.
organizations that are looking to scale.
Excellent. Well, listen, thanks again, Chris. Thank you for watching and listening, and I will see you all again very soon. Thank you.
Thanks, John.